Alright, this is a real quick video how to make yogurt at home by yourself. So there's two options you can use. You can either go with the alternative milk. This is goat milk that I use. You can also use soy or almond or whatever. This lighting is horrible in here today. It's the Evergreen Acres for anyone who couldn't read that. And then this is the Clarevale, the Jersey milk that I use if I'm going to use cow milk. So if you're using the Jersey milk, you want to use 2 teaspoons of your yogurt starter. For this Natron, this is my new one I'm doing for taste reasons. It's delicious. If you have a yogurt maker, if you don't have a yogurt maker, go to culturesforhealth.com, just like it sounds, and get the Villi starter, V-I-L-L-I. That's the one that I got before I got a yogurt maker. Still tasty, not as good as this Bulgarian formula, which I'm now hooked on, but also very good. And so how you mix that is you just get 2 teaspoons, put it into like a little mason jar, and then you add some milk, stir it up, and basically wait till it's not clumpy, and then you pour it into your big area of milk, which this one's already halfway through the yogurt making process. It's just a 2-quart glass jar that I got at the store for about 10 bucks. And so I just fill that up, throw it in here, and then I actually make a mixture of cheese and whey. I pour it through a cheesecloth, and you get cheese on the top, and you get whey on the bottom, just so that you can separate it out. Or you can just keep it as yogurt, it's up to you. And then once you do make yogurt, so that you don't need to keep using this yogurt starter up each time, you just fill up a little glass jar. I think pint size is perfect. Fill it up with your homemade yogurt, save that, and then when you make it the next time, it's actually easier to stir it in, and just the whole process should be a little smoother. So that's about it. If you want to know how to make yogurt, that's it. You literally just set it to 105 degrees, just like Bikram yoga. Throw it in your yogurt maker. I do it for a full 24 hours just to make sure everything's turned over. But you can do it as short as 12. Don't do it shorter than that, because then you're practically, might as well just go and get store-bought yogurt. But yeah, so that'll be the end of it for all you non-food dorks. And then anyone who's trying to treat their body like a temple and trying to be as healthy as possible, or maybe you have a kid and you want to make sure that they grow properly, or whatever the case may be, this is a great, going to be a great video for you, because our country is very milk illiterate, and we've all been told that milk is good for us, but we don't know why or what types, or why does it hurt my stomach then, or there's lots of questions, so I'm going to go over lots of those. So what we have here is a bunch of different types of milk. I'm going to pull them all out and show you guys. This is the first one. This is the one that I recommend for lots of reasons. See if I can show it a little bit better now. Evergreen Acres Guernsey goats, and it actually tastes a lot like cow milk if you're somebody who doesn't really like the goaty sort of smell. I've been told and verified with my own taste buds that one is much less hormonal tasting, and the reason for that is they keep the male goats away from the female goats when they're milking, so the female goats don't get all those hormones up in the milk like when they want to breed. And so that's a great one if you're trying to go for the healthiest milk out there that's local. Also, sheep's milk would be great if you can find somewhere local that has some raw sheep's milk. Cow's milk is not going to be as healthy as those animals, just because the fat and protein ratio is not as good, because the cows, even the Jersey cows, have been bred over time to get the highest yield possible, and they haven't really looked into the health of the animal, other than a secondary thing. So if you are going to get cow's milk, which, cow's milk contains lactose and casein, the 2 biggest parts of the dairy allergy in this country. So that's another reason to maybe caution against it. If you're going to drink it just straight, I recommend you go with Guernsey goat's milk, just because it doesn't have lactose, doesn't have casein, and then you're still going to get all the teeth benefits and calcium benefits of the other milk with the probiotics. Although, it's going to be more hormonal, and it's going to have more carbs than if you did turn it over into yogurt or whey or some sort of fermented kefir or some sort of beverage. But yeah, so Jersey milk, though, is the second best if you're not going to go with goat's milk, because it does have a good fat and protein ratio. And like I said, if you use it to make yogurt with, you're going to turn it over and get the lactose and casein problem handled anyways. So I'm just going to let that ring, try to ignore that. Never get a call. Of course, I get one now, though. And then, so yeah, the next one I'm going to show you guys is another one that a lot of people buy. It's called Organic Valley, and this one's lactose free. And I thought it was funny. I was actually just looking at the ingredients, and this one they ultra pasteurize it, which I never recommend you get anything that's pasteurized even. And if it's ultra pasteurized, I very much don't recommend it. I'm not going to get too much into pasteurization on this video. Just understand that the reason they pasteurize cow's milk is because the milk they pasteurize from those cows is very unhealthy. So if they didn't pasteurize it, the consumer would be able to tell, and the consumer wouldn't buy that. So the pasteurization is essentially, in a non-scientific way, it's just basically their way of trying to make an unsellable product look sellable. So you can imagine that that's just not a good idea to buy something that you wouldn't have bought until they tricked you into buying it. But basically what they do in the non-homogenized types of milk, like this one has a non-homogenized version that's not the lactose free, is they pasteurize it, which does kill the lactase, which that was the funny part I was about to mention, is they kill this one, so all the lactase is dead. They take out the lactose somehow, God knows how they do that, and then they add back in lactase, which, if you just drank raw milk, that already has lactose and lactase in it. So lots of people who have lactose intolerances can just switch to raw milk, and they do better on that. And there's lots of reasons for that. The main reason, it might be the lactose. I think that the main reason is just the overall health of the animal. The only way to get healthy raw milk is to have a healthy cow. The way to make the pasteurized milk look healthy, they can start with pretty much any milk. They actually started the process when the cows were so unhealthy that the milk was blue. And they cooked it to turn it white, and then the homogenization process was to get the fats and proteins and carbs all mixed into one, so it looked the same throughout, and the customer couldn't see, like, why does this one have fat on top? Why doesn't this one? And so it's basically, it's complex, and the reasons for doing it are quite insidious, but just understand for your family that raw milk is always going to be the best if you have the option. California, we're blessed. We actually have that option. We don't need to call it pet food or do any of these sketchy stuff that lots of these states are having to do. Like I know in Florida, a lot of people have to buy what they say is pet food, but it's truly for them because of the laws over there. They're just, have to go around the government like that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so if you are going to get pasteurized milk, definitely don't go with one like this. If you're going to go with this company, go with the non-homogenized at the very least, because the homogenization is the worst part of the process. Anyone who's read the GAPS books from Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, great author, great person to check out in the nutrition realm, and she basically explained to me that when they do break it up from the fat cells and the milk cells all into the one size of sludge, which is how I consider it now, it's no longer cells anymore because everything gets broken through the sieve. It also breaks it so thin that if you have any sort of a leaky gut, which most of our country has a leaky gut just because it's common when you have bacteria and parasites and different unhealthy food that you're constantly eating like we do in America, to have a leaky gut in your system. And so basically if you have any sort of leaky guts, then the pasteurized milk is just going to flow right through those. And so that's why a lot of people drink milk, they get stomach aches. That's one group. Another group, drinks milk, gets headaches. Another group drinks milk, gets body aches. And so it's across the board, the symptoms, depending on where your deficiencies and weaknesses lie, you're going to feel those things in different places. But the point being is just that if you go with the raw milk, that's going to be so much healthier for you. It's not going to be broken up so small that it's going to be able to travel through your system. It's going to either hurt your stomach or not. And so if it does hurt your stomach, keep watching this video. There's a lot of tricks, mainly the yogurt making process, that's going to help you to beat your dairy allergy. But yeah, I'm just going to move on. I feel like I'm talking too much about that. So this is another one that's good, Saint Benoit, and it's a low heat pasteurization. So if you're somebody who just reads this government warnings that they have on here, raw, unpasteurized milk and raw milk dairy products may contain disease-causing microorganisms. Persons that I'm not even going to finish reading that because it, to me, means nothing. To me, it means that, the government's trying to scare you away from a healthy product. But if you are somebody who just, you're not there yet, you can't understand the alternative health circle the way it, means to be understood, then just wait on it. Go with something that's in between. Go with something that's non-homogenized for your family, and then maybe slowly shift. But just last thing you want to do is get standard ultra-pasteurized, homogenized milk. And so yeah, also another reason for the pasteurization being bad for people who, are on the fence, understand that calcium in the milk, once you heat the milk, is almost completely inaccessible to the body. So if you want it to be a calcium supplement for you, you want to be drinking it in raw form. Depending on what you're going for with the product, if it's just part of your latte or if it's just part of your taste buds satisfaction, then that's not what this video is for. This is for people who want to get the most out of their nutrition and be spending money only on health food that's actually going to make them healthier, not on health food that would make you healthy if you used it properly. But so yeah, basically I'm going to move on from that one. The St. Benoit, it's also Jersey milk, so Jersey milk is going to have a better fat to protein ratio than, say, the Straus milk, which is made with the Holstein variety of cows, which the Holstein variety of cow is an American cow. For anyone who doesn't know, is bred to be as big as possible, produce as much milk as possible, as you can imagine, for profit. They weren't thinking about the health of you or the animal. It's just profit, profit, profit. And so basically what we have now is hundreds of years have gone by, and the milk is now the lowest on the whole market for fat content, which is not a good thing. Fat, no matter if you're fat phobic or not, fat is good for you, and it's something that if you're going to be eating protein, you want to have in combination with that. Otherwise, it's going to be drastic for your body as far as how you take it nutritionally. So yeah, always go with the higher fat content milk. Also, the reason I got this one is I actually have a friend who switched over to healthier milk. She now gets the non-homogenized milk with the cream on the top because she was told that's healthier. She told me the other day that she always pours the cream layer off, and I actually just learned this last year, so it really shouldn't be that funny to me, but cows actually do not produce anything other than cream and non-fat milk. Cows don't produce whole milk. Cows don't produce 2% milk. That is essentially the mixture of those things, either man-made or just leaving them together in the whole milk part. But yeah, basically this is just the non-fat milk, so they have already poured off the cream. So if you're somebody who pours off the cream, just go with the Straus non-homogenized, pasteurized, which is the downside to it, but at least it's a glass bottle, and there's some good things about Straus. But move on to this next one. I wish I could support if they only had Jersey cows. I would recommend this one higher just because it's the most local to Santa Cruz County. It's done in Monterey. It's raw milk. Again, it's the Holstein variety. And you can see, I've been moving these too much to get a good picture of this. But if you see at the store, you'll see this one's a much bigger bottle. It's twice the size. But if you look at the quart of this one next to the half gallon of this one, the quart always has almost the same amount of fat as the half gallon. It just shows you how different the Jersey cow is from the Holstein cow. And so if you are going to be drinking cow's milk, which just be careful because the lactose and the casein, you want to definitely turn it over in a yogurt maker for 24 hours if you're feeding that to your family, or if you have a very sensitive ecosystem within you, then you want to be careful of that. And so another type of milk that a lot of people are getting into these days, especially with all the veganism and vegetarianism that's becoming rampant in this area, if not everywhere else. A lot of people are turning to alternative milks that aren't made from an animal. And so if you are trying to go that route, I recommend you do it yourself, because everything I've looked at that's available at the store, I've checked Staff of Life, I've checked New Leaf, and I've checked Whole Foods. And everything you read, like the first couple ingredients will be good, and then you get down the list and there's a lot of stuff in these milks that you don't really want to be eating. It doesn't really matter the percentage of them. In my eyes, you just don't want to be paying for toxins, and so, especially in the name of health food. So this one is actually one that I almost got duped into buying at New Leaf one time. They were having a taste testing sort of thing, and I tried it. I was like, oh, it's really good. And the guy read it to me, the ingredients, and he read almond milk, filtered water, and almonds. That's all it's in. I was like, no way. Like, I didn't even think they had anything that pure without preservatives at the store. And I was at the checker about to buy it when the health dork in me took over, and I had to double check the ingredients list. And I did, and I'll read to you the rest of it that he didn't share with me. It contains less than 2% of the following: vitamin mineral blend, calcium carbonate, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D2, vitamin B12, vitamin B2, zinc, gellan gum, carrageenan, potassium citrate. There's lots of stuff in there that's unsettling to me that I wouldn't want to eat without Googling first. Definitely the one that I've Googled before that I know that no one should be consuming is carrageenan. Just don't want to eat that. Don't want to feed it to any animal, or, whether it's a chicken or dog. I'd say just don't feed that one to anybody. So yeah, I can't recommend really any milk that's nut-based or coconut-based that I've ever seen in stores. However, if you can make them at home, please do. And if you make a video of yogurt making, I would love to post that on my page. At some point, I plan to get into coconut milk and do the cream and everything all together, but I haven't delved into that arena yet. So if you do first, please share. And a good one, just to show you an example of something that's non-dairy, that's like milk-like, that is available in stores with nothing sketch in it, in my opinion. This one's a great one, although for cost purposes, it's just not really practical to be drinking this one often, because this is, let me see, 12 ounces, and it's like $5. So, you know, compared to something like this, that's, you know, maybe a couple dollars more, much bigger, but it, again, has much of the preservatives in there that you don't want. So, make your own milk. Internal Bliss by GAP's author, Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, is a great one to look at to make your own nut milks and stuff like that. It is a multiple step process. It's not easy in my opinion, which is why I go towards the goat's milk or the dairy milks when I make my own yogurt. But yeah, I think that I about covered it. I think this is, I'll show it one more time. This is the one that I recommend if you're local. It doesn't have any casein, doesn't have any lactose, good fat to protein ratios, and you know, there's no reason not to go with that one other than the hormones, which is why, you know, turn into cheese, turn into yogurt, it'll be healthier. But another reason why I plan to maybe go to coconut yogurt, coconut milk someday, just because I would rather have the hormones in my body be my hormones and not any other animals. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I think I covered everything. If I did miss anything, feel free to let me know. But I think that's about it.